Since 2016, an average of over 4,000 ransomware attacks occur every day in the United States. Let's run the math on that statistic real quick and see how many that adds up to until the current time of this video. At 4,000 ransomware attacks every day, that's 1.46 million in 2016 alone. If that average number continued for the next 4 years, that brings the grand sum of ransomware attacks to 5.64 million by the end of 2021. But the current reality is much worse than the math that I just broke down seems. Now the situation is worse because ransomware attacks were up 148% in 2020. Sure, you could argue that there were more ransomware attacks in 2020 because more organizations had to operate with a remote workforce. And that's a valid argument. However, the post-pandemic world isn't much different considering 25% to 30% of workforces still do. The point I'm trying to make with all of this is that ransomware isn't just an ongoing threat for organizations that utilize a remote workforce, it's a trending form of malware that shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. To make matters worse, 95% of all data breaches happen because of a mistake made by an employee. Okay, now we know that ransomware prevention begins with your employees because they're your biggest threat to your organization. But there's still one more question that needs answering. What do you do to your team to mitigate their risk? Hi everyone, I'm Matt from eTactics, and today I'm going to explain what the perfect ransomware training for your employees looks like. Before we get started though, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button below. Also hit that alert bell icon next to it as well so when we post new helpful content, you get notified. The most important topic in any ransomware training is the inclusion of real-world examples. Remember how at the beginning of this video I gave you a bunch of statistics? I gave you all that information to help paint you a picture of the grim reality that is ransomware attacks. That's exactly the same technique that effective employee training uses. In fact, a study from 2015 proved that students retain their lessons better with the help of case studies. More specifically, 82% stated that case studies greatly impacted their learning. But these real-world examples can't just be any old ransomware attack. They have to be relevant and scary. Ooh. After hearing about real-world successful ransomware attacks, your team is going to have a better understanding of just how grim the reality really is. What they don't know, though, is what to look out for. That's why the next topic that needs to be included within ransomware training is the techniques hackers use that lead to ransomware attacks. Luckily for you, odds are that the training already included how hackers orchestrate ransomware attacks in each case study that it provided. In other words, these real-world examples are a perfect segue into the techniques that hackers use. If I had to guess though, the best technique that leads to a successful ransomware hack is phishing. It's a good guess because 70% of all data breaches involve phishing and roughly 1 in 6,000 emails contain suspicious URLs. But ransomware attacks aren't exclusive to just phishing. Hackers are also constantly trying to figure out ways to exploit software vulnerabilities and remote desktop protocols or RDP. In July of 2021, more than 1,000 clients of IT management software provider Kaseya had their systems blocked due to unpatched vulnerabilities. See how that works? That's a technique and a real-world example all in one. The third topic that the ransomware training that you're participating in should be are the signs of an infected system. Not every ransomware attack is a massive headline-grabbing event that gets everyone's attention. Yet, they're successful because of how they grab their victims' attention. The thing is, hackers want to make sure that their casualties know about the successful attack on their system because that's how they get paid. Sure, they could play the long game, steal sensitive information, and sell it on the dark web, but that requires more work and isn't guaranteed. The thing is though, ransomware is almost always advertised as a big red and black screen with threats written all over it. Although dramatic, it doesn't always happen this way. In some cases, organizations don't realize that they're infected until they notice a pattern of customers calling in saying that certain functionalities within their system aren't working. While troubleshooting the reported issues, the IT department then finds a text file within a directory named ransom note with notification of their attack. You see, although ransomware is an overt type of hack, sometimes a covert approach instills a higher sense of urgency because of the art of the surprise involved. The last important topic the training you're taking should talk about is a response plan. This part will likely mesh with other cybersecurity trainings you've held or have scheduled. That's a good scenario to be in though because you're reiterating important concepts to them. Here is where you reiterate internal policies you might have in place. Hopefully, this policy that this training is going over details who to notify immediately so that your IT team can quickly react. After all, the burden of dealing with a ransomware attack falls on your technical team. That's why it's also a good idea to provide a technical response plan details for your IT team during your training as well. Although it might seem like it makes the most sense to keep those technical conversations at a group level, it doesn't hurt to have the entire organization understand the steps involved with isolating networks, backupping data, and quarantining malware. Although it's technically just another form of malware, ransomware isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It caught on like wildfire among hacker groups after the NotPetYaCyberWar gained global headlines, and it has only continued to grow in popularity since. It doesn't help that massive attacks continue to succeed and gain the attention of popular media outlets. Since the biggest threat to your organization is your employees, the best way to combat it is by providing them with an engaging training program that uses real-world examples. If you'd like to learn more about ransomware training for your employees, reach out to eTactics. And you already made it this far into the video, so you might as well like it, share it, and comment below. Well, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to our YouTube channel.